plan to have who will be the emergency quarterback in the game?
Shedeur. Yeah.
Is Dylan Gabriel going to be like second quarter? He's out there because Flacco just needs a minute in the blue tent.
Yeah, that feels likely.
And if it's Shedeur Sanders and he starts balling,
then what?
Everything changes in a
whole
bat of an
season,
eye.
Yeah.
He's going in there, he's working hard, he's trying to improve every day. He's saying all the right things, trying to elevate his level of play. And remember, up until this past weekend, we did think there was a legitimate argument that he should have been higher on the depth chart than Dylan Gabriel because he performed better against Carolina than Dylan Gabriel had performed in the preseason game against the Eagles. It's just that obviously he nosedived over this last week, and so the tenor of the conversation changed. He really hasn't done anything. I mean, he hasn't gotten in any trouble. I mean, he hasn't been saying the wrong things. He hasn't been a less than a model citizen focused on, being the best that he can be. He hasn't done anything. So I think that when we look at it, he's going in there, he's working hard, he's trying to improve every day.
Kevin Stefanski recently made a bold declaration that Shedeur Sanders will be given more opportunities, regardless of any new signings the Browns may make. He's going to be the team's emergency guy moving forward. This comment sparked a whole new debate. If the Browns weren't planning to use Bailey Zappi, then why bring him in the first place? Zappi wasn't signed to be a starting quarterback. He was brought in as insurance, a safety net in case something unexpected came up during the season. What this really means is that Shedeur Sanders is once again poised to step in as QB1 if the situation calls for it. The Browns' decision to bring Bailey Zappi on board looks more like an effort to add depth to their quarterback room rather than seeking a new starter or QB1. It seems like a precautionary measure to minimize the risk of losing key quarterbacks. By signing Zappi, Cleveland is keeping their options flexible without fully committing to a new player. This move isn't necessarily about replacing Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel, but rather ensuring they have coverage in case of injuries or any other issues that might affect their quarterback depth during the season.
I like the fact that they have him there. I think he'll be good in practice. He'll be good for some of those younger guys in helping them to prepare for a game and whatnot. And he's just also a really good guy.
The Browns brought Bailey Zappi in mainly to provide support to the young quarterbacks for the season. As reported by Mary Kay Cabot, Zappi's role will focus on preparing the quarterbacks for upcoming games and stepping in if any injuries occur. Cabot also highlighted that Zappi could prove to be a valuable addition to the team. However, this move could also indicate that Dylan Gabriel might be on the trade block. There are reports that Gabriel is gaining interest from several NFL teams, especially after Kenny Pickett's recent trade. With Gabriel now in the spotlight, there's increasing speculation that Shedeur Sanders could be just a few games away from becoming the second-string quarterback in the NFL, potentially opening up a significant opportunity for him. Stephen A. Smith also weighed in on the conversation, emphasizing Shedeur Sanders' consistent progress and the momentum he's building. He pointed out that even before the latest preseason game, it was clear that Sanders had surpassed Dylan Gabriel on the depth chart. Smith noted that, aside from a small setback last week, Sanders has remained undefeated, has communicated well with his teammates, and is now fully focused on improving his game. According to Stephen A., the Browns recognize Sanders' immense potential and are counting on him to keep growing into a more impactful and dominant player in the future.
He really hasn't done anything. I mean, he hasn't gotten in any trouble. I mean, he hasn't been saying the wrong things. He hasn't been a less than a model citizen focused on, being the best that he can be. He hasn't done anything. So I think that when we look at it, he's going in there, he's working hard, he's trying to improve every day.
Stephen A. Smith further highlighted Shedeur Sanders' steady development, emphasizing the significant momentum he's gained. He noted that even before the latest preseason game, it was clear Sanders had moved ahead of Dylan Gabriel on the depth chart. Smith mentioned that, aside from a small setback last week, Sanders has stayed undefeated, has built strong communication with his teammates, and is now fully committed to refining his skills. Stephen believes the Browns are fully aware of Sanders' tremendous potential and are counting on him to continue growing into a more influential and dominant player as time goes on.
He's going in there, he's working hard, he's trying to improve every day. He's saying all the right things, trying to elevate his level of play. And remember, up until this past weekend, we did think there was a legitimate argument that he should have been higher on the depth chart than Dillon Gabriel because he performed better against Carolina than Dillon Gabriel had performed in the preseason game against the Eagles. It's just that obviously he nosedived over this last week, and so the tenor of the conversation changed.
Stephen A. Smith's observations align with Coach Kevin Stefanski's evolving stance on Shedeur Sanders. Recently, Stefanski reaffirmed his full commitment to developing Sanders despite any external criticism. This change is significant, especially considering that not long ago, Stefanski was downplaying concerns and even offering harsh critiques of Sanders. However, after the trade of Kenny Pickett, the coach's perspective shifted, placing Sanders back in the spotlight and giving him a genuine chance to prove his worth. This shift in timing is crucial, signaling that Sanders now has a real opportunity to showcase his potential.
I don't concern myself with outside type of things, but I'm committed to his development, just like all of our rookies. So we'll continue to focus on getting our guys better, and that's what we'll stay committed to, and that's what's important to me.
Other analysts have weighed in on Shedeur Sanders' chances of securing the QB2 spot, with many highlighting Dillon Gabriel's size as a potential obstacle for him to maintain that role long-term. Mike Tannenbaum praised Gabriel's impressive preseason, recognizing his skill and composure. However, Tannenbaum pointed out that Gabriel's height could pose a significant disadvantage in the NFL, making a trade more likely. While talent and technique are essential, physical limitations like size can create challenges that are tough to overcome, which could cost Gabriel the QB2 spot and lead to him being traded. Nick Wright also weighed in on Dillon Gabriel, recognizing the young quarterback's clear talent and potential. However, he didn't shy away from addressing a key concern: Gabriel's size. Wright pointed out that while Gabriel can't change this physical limitation, it remains a significant hurdle in his quest to become a consistent NFL starter. Despite showcasing flashes of skill, his physical attributes could limit his long-term success. When compared to Shedeur Sanders, who possesses more natural tools and greater future potential, the differences between the two quarterbacks become more evident, underscoring the challenges Gabriel must overcome.
Gabriel, who, through no fault of his own, commits one of my cardinal sins of quarterbacking, which is he's tiny. And so, he's tiny.
Mike Florio, senior NFL analyst, has also chimed in on the ongoing debate within the Browns organization. He stated that the Browns are likely considering trading Dillon Gabriel and noted that such a move could place the team in a difficult position by reducing the quarterback competition. However, Florio also pointed out that this could present a great opportunity for Shedeur Sanders to rise to the occasion. With a chance to showcase his abilities, Sanders could make a significant impact and establish himself as a valuable asset for any team in need of a backup quarterback, possibly positioning himself as QB2. Florio also mentioned that, following Kenny Pickett's departure, the Browns might lean towards trading Gabriel. He noted that Sanders is essentially untouchable due to his massive fan following, and trading him could lead to major backlash. As the conversation around this grows louder, Florio believes that moving Sanders could have serious negative consequences. This is why Gabriel may be the more likely candidate for a trade as the Browns try to navigate this situation while keeping their fan base on their side.
This is one of the natural and foreseeable byproducts of drafting him. He comes to town with a built-in fan base. The mouth breathers, as you call them, are in tow. Not that I called them that, but you called them that.
Yeah,
they're there.
Yeah.
Rich Eisen also shared his thoughts on the unfolding situation in Cleveland, stating that if Dillon Gabriel is traded and Shedeur Sanders steps into the QB2 role, it would be only a matter of time before Sanders takes over as the starter later in the season. Eisen emphasized that this shift would provide Sanders with the opportunity to solidify his position, and he firmly believes that Sanders is destined to become the QB1 at some point during the year, The momentum is clearly building in Sanders' favor, positioning him to take charge when the time is right. In conclusion, Coach Stefanski's declaration that Shedeur Sanders will be the Browns' go-to option if anything happens to Joe Flacco is just one piece of a larger puzzle. When considering all the other factors, Sanders' steady progress, the shift in coaching perspective, and the ongoing discussions about Dillon Gabriel's future, it's clear that Shedeur is not just being set up as an emergency backup, but as a legitimate contender for the QB1 role. The possibility of Gabriel being traded could very well be the final blow for those who doubted Sanders, solidifying his place as the Browns' future quarterback and marking the beginning of a new era for the team. What do you think about the Browns' decision to lean on Shedeur Sanders as their potential QB1? Do you believe that the trade of Dillon Gabriel could be the final step in solidifying Sanders' position? Or do you think there's still a chance Gabriel could play a bigger role? How do you see the competition unfolding between Sanders, Gabriel, and Flacco, and what impact do you think this will have on the team's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think.